Hey everybody, welcome to day 86 of my 100 days of having only Keto Chow for all my meals. I'm your host, Chris. There's where I'll put my name across there. Day 86. I'm a little stalled out on my weight loss right now, which that's not the primary goal of right now, but it is nice to be losing weight, or was. For the last about 5 or 6 days, I've been up and down and up and down. Right now, I'm at about a 38.7 pound loss since when I started back in January. I expect that's going to turn around and I'll start losing weight again. Beverly posted yesterday her experience. She's been posting every week. And she hasn't lost weight in quite a while, although she doesn't have very much to lose. But it's interesting to see how different people react differently to doing this sort of thing. Also yesterday I got a message from one of our friends who lives in Hawaii. I think it might have been the first time she'd ever tried Keto Chow. And she was like, wow, this is really good. Do you guys put it in coffee? I'm like, well, me personally, I think that coffee smells like burnt toast. So I don't use it, but I know a lot of people who do. If you go on the How to Prepare Keto Chow page, down after the videos, there's a pink box that talks about recipe hacks. And one of the recipe hacks and things that you can do to enhance Keto Chow is adding it to coffee, or adding coffee to it, depending on how you want to look at it. That's the phone. Anyway, and then she asked, and how do you explain why or what do you think the mechanism is for why you've been losing so much weight doing just Keto Chow? So I think that, and my answer to her was, I think there's a couple of different things that are causing it. Number one, I'm not snacking. That's huge, absolutely monumental, because I don't know about you, but I tend to snack. And when I snack, it tends to get carbs into my diet, little bits at a time, and then additional calories. By not having that, it completely changes the game. And also by not snacking, I'm limiting the amount of insulin that my body is secreting throughout the day. And depending on the day, sometimes I'll go into the afternoon without eating, or sometimes I'll eat in the morning, or sometimes, it just kind of depends. And the longer you go without insulin, the more your fat cells are able to open up and release that. So not snacking is it's a huge deal. And that's one of the nice things about doing just Keto Chow is I'm only eating Keto Chow. So what can I snack on? Diet soda. There's no calories in that. Anyway, so number one, I'm not snacking. Number two, right now at least, and even before then, so when I was doing Keto Chow with just heavy cream, I was getting like 10.5 grams of net carbs per day. Right now, specifically, while I'm doing Keto Chow with just avocado oil, I'm getting an average of 1.7 grams of net carbs a day. Not a meal, a day. And I think that works out to be like 23.5 grams of total carbs, depending on if you do total carbs or net carbs. Now, the interesting thing about the total carbs, the 21 point whatever grams of fiber that's in Keto Chow, it's almost entirely coming from acacia gum, or gum arabic, or however you want to say it. Acacia gum does a couple things. Number one, it acts as an emulsifier. It keeps the fat mixed with the water, which is great. Number two, it is easily, you can't digest it. Human beings, we can't do anything with it. But our gut bacteria absolutely loves it. And your gut bacteria will break it down and turn it into short chain fats. It's actually the same sort of stuff that happens in ruminants. but their stomachs are specially suited for it. All they do is break that down. Acacia gum just happens to be really easy for our gut bacteria to break down. And so it goes in as a fiber, but it ends up as a short chain fat. One of those short chain fats that is produced is butyrate. Butyrate is then metabolized by your gut lining, the cells in your, I think it's epithelium. I probably got that wrong, but I might have gotten it right. Anyway, it's used by those as a fuel source, and one of the things that your gut cells produce is beta hydroxybutyrate from the butyrate, also known as BHB, also known as one of the primary ketones that we're talking about on a ketogenic diet. So yeah, carbs go in, fiber goes in, fat comes out, and it ends up in your blood as ketones. What? It's fantastic. So yeah, there is quite a bit of total carbs, but it's not like the total carbs that you're thinking of. It's nothing like maltitol. It's nothing like oligosaccharides or one of the other things. It doesn't turn into a sugar at all. It turns into fat and ketones. So that's another reason why I think that when you're doing just Keto Chow for all your meals, you're getting an insanely low amount of net carbs, and the total carbs that you're getting are actually ending up as fat and ketones. It's fantastic. So starting next week, my total carbs are going to be a bit higher. I'll get into that in just a bit. But let's see, what was the other reason I gave her? I gave her like 4 or 5 reasons that I thought were the causes for it. And I'm drawing a blank now. Hold on a second. Sent mail. Oh, okay. There we go. There we go. Insane little amount of carbs. Oh, yeah, that's right. No, number one, the other thing is that I'm not overeating. It's really easy to overeat doing keto or any diet, but I mean, keto isn't unique in that unless you're trying to eat something like pork belly, that's almost impossible to overeat because he just gets full so quickly. But doing Keto Chow only, I'm not overeating. I'm eating the same amount every day. Now, I'm also not under eating right now, and that's because during this experimentation phase, I'm maintaining the number of calories a day. When I was doing Keto Chow with heavy cream, I was actually only getting like 1,650 calories a day. Right now, I'm getting closer to 1,850 calories a day. So I upped my calories by 300 calories a day. And aside from this last week where I stalled out, the previous segment where I was doing the avocado oil, there was really no change in the amount of weight I was losing. It was pretty linear, which is also really interesting because during this phase of the experiment where I'm maintaining the amount of calories I'm eating per day, I'm kind of going against my own better judgment because whether I'm hungry or I'm not, I'm eating because I'm trying to maintain those number of calories. Now, in theory, what my body should do is ramp up metabolic processes to account for the increased consumption. And then if you eat too little, it will ramp down metabolic processes. Now, you can only go, I usually recommend not going more than 15% below your resting metabolic rate because otherwise it tends to shut down those metabolic processes. But it's interesting that I'm not overeating and I'm not undereating. What was the other thing? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, yeah, those were the points that I gave her. Okay, now, starting tomorrow, so today is Thursday, I'm getting a blood test tomorrow morning, and that will That'll mark the end of the Keto Chow with avocado oil and MCT oil. So right now I'm doing 45 milliliters per meal of avocado oil, and I'm doing 15 milliliters per meal of MCT oil. 2 weeks ago, I was doing 60 milliliters, the same amount, of just avocado oil, and before that I was doing, I think it was 118 milliliters per meal of heavy cream, of 40% fat heavy cream. It's this cool stuff we can get at Costco that's slightly higher in fat and fewer carbs per net carb. Anyway, starting tomorrow, I will be doing 66.666. It ends up being 200 grams of salted butter per day. So 66.6 grams of butter. It actually turned out to be a whole lot easier to measure it by grams, and since I'm going to be weighing a bunch of my Keto Chow anyway, I'll have out the kitchen scale. You can just fill out the measuring cup with 200 grams of butter, microwave that. Oh, I got the new microwave turntable yesterday, by the way, and my hand is healing quite well, and so is my arm. Anyway, so yeah, you just fill up a measuring cup with 200 grams and cut off a little bit more or less until you're done. And then microwave that, melt it, put that into a big pitcher, hit it with an immersion blender with all your Keto Chow and warm water. And yeah, then you can reheat it when it's time to eat. I'm planning on doing a video showing the process that I'm going to be using for doing the Keto Chow with butter. It actually isn't terribly difficult. You just need to use a blender or an immersion blender with warm water, and yeah, it emulsifies amazingly, once again, due to the acacia gum. So I'm really looking forward to that. Avocado oil isn't my first choice of fats, and that's simply because of the taste. It seems to also do interesting stuff to my metabolism, although not as interesting stuff as the MCT oil with the avocado oil does. That's caused some interesting results. Yesterday I talked about that, and I posted some graphs if you want to look into day 85. But I'm really interested to see what doing the butter is going to do. Because it's a saturated fat, in theory, it should raise my HDL, which would be good because it's actually gotten pretty low. And I think that a lot of that's due to the MCT oil. But interestingly enough, Beverly, I posted her blood test results yesterday as well, next to mine. She hasn't had the same results. She still has insanely high HDL and really good everything else. Her total cholesterol is higher, but all of her other biomarkers look really good, except she needs more salt. Beverly, you got to get that salt up. We talked about that yesterday too. Her and I did, privately. Although apparently I'm doing it publicly now. Yeah, so tomorrow's going to be pretty awesome. I'm going to have to actually do a bunch of the mixing tonight, so that I'll have my Keto Chow with butter ready for tomorrow. Lastly, I got done editing together the behind-the-scenes footage of the commercial shoot that we did back in January. Something I've been meaning to do. I ended up with a bit of time yesterday, so I was furiously going through and editing it down. And the plan, and Miriam and I talked about this on our Facebook Live that we did, let's see, today's Thursday, Wednesday, 2 days ago, on Tuesday. We're going to, the commercial is in testing right now. We're doing some tweaks, but until we get the tweaks all done, we're going to, the testing. In about 2 weeks from now, or a week and a half, I'm not sure exactly, we're going to do a premiere of the video, of the commercial, for all of our friends and followers and everybody else who wants to see it, because it's pretty awesome. There's actually two versions of it. There's a 60-second version and a 4.5-minute version. The 60-second is the really quick Instagram ad version, and then you can like click through and see the full version. But it's pretty awesome. If you watch the YouTube version of the Facebook Live that we did, I uploaded it yesterday. At the very end, the like last 2 seconds of the video is a really brief clip from the commercial. Anyway, but yeah, so we're going to do a premiere. We're going to have that up on YouTube. And when you do a premiere on YouTube, you basically set a date and a time, and everybody can connect up, and it'll have like a countdown clock, and then everybody watches it at the same time and can comment and do all sorts of fun stuff, and there's like a chat going on. So we're going to have, well, Miriam and I we're today, when Miriam gets back from the dentist, that's where she's at right now, we're going to record an introduction. So I'll be in this same shirt, and Miriam will be in her Boulder Carnivore Conference shirt. Anyway, we'll record an introduction to the video, to the commercial. Then we'll show the commercial, and then we'll have probably a post-introduction. I'm not sure what that's called, where we'll talk about it afterwards a little bit, maybe. And then I'll go into the, I'll have the behind-the-scenes footage. All in all, it'll be about 20 minutes of video, but should be, it's going to be great. So when we have more information about when that's going to be, I'll be posting it all over the place. So it'll probably be before I'm finished with the 100 days. I'll tell you that much. So anyway, yeah, this is a long video. I better get back to work. So I will catch you all on day 87. So long.